You were in China during two of your birthdays. How did they recognize or celebrate your birthday when you were in China?
Well, I never told them it was my birthday. My first year there, we had been doing a lesson about the difference in some of the manners, like saying goodbye or giving hugs, things like that. The lesson had been sort of on that. So it was my birthday, but I hadn't told them because, especially at that time, they didn't have a lot of money and they would have all wanted to bring me a present. So I purposely did not tell them. But the story that day that we'd been working on had to do with hugging, which was rather unusual over there at that time too. So what I said at the end of the lesson, and they were leaving that day, I said, if you're comfortable, I'm going to be by the back door and I would love to give you a hug. And if not, I just said, I will be back there and I'd love to give you a hug. In other words, if they weren't comfortable, that was fine. They'd just go out the other door. So they did. And so the very last day, which at that point when you're teaching over there, you brought supplies, you give them away to everybody. And because you don't want to carry them home. And so I mentioned to them also that it had been a very special time for my birthday that year. And they all looked at me like, when was your birthday? When was your birthday? We didn't, we didn't do anything. They felt so bad. I said, remember the day we had the story about hugs? I said, that was my birthday. And you all, by giving me a hug, helped me celebrate my birthday. So that one was very special. Another one that happened, actually it's two more. Another one that happened was I had come to class and my class wasn't in the room. And it was time to start. And I knew I'd seen all the students around. I'd seen my students and I didn't know where they were. And there were two of us, generally always two on a site. And so I went to the other classroom with the other American teacher to ask her if she'd seen my students. Well, I walked in and both classes were in the room and they had a surprise birthday party for me. Now this is 10 o'clock in the morning. We not only had music and dancing, but we also had wine at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that one was kind of funny. And the last year I went, when I was in Kylie, again, I didn't tell anybody, I don't tell them that it's my birthday because I don't want them to feel they have to do anything. So it was my birthday and I was teaching my class and the other American teacher who had his class in another room, all of a sudden there was a knock on the door and they opened it and he and his whole class with a gorgeous cake came walking in singing happy birthday and had a hat for me and it was a whole big thing. And they bring plates and forks and enough birthday cake for all of us. And so, of course, it was a wonderful surprise. But later I said to him, how did you know? Because I had not told even my American teacher friend that it was my birthday. He said, well, one of our students was in the office and saw your passport and noticed your birthday was today. And that's what they did. So it's very special when they do those things.